kind of, but I think the reason I wanted to touch on certificate of sponsorships today is because this has become quite a hot topic after 22nd of July 2025. How you actually make applications for certificate of sponsorship is very important because that's all changed. There's additional requirements that you need to meet as sponsor who's sponsoring care workers, especially in the code 6135, and then our senior care workers in 6136. Okay. So, I'm going to start by, I think I can move this laptop now if that's all right. Thank you. This was all the unimportant stuff that was on there. Now on to the most serious stuff. So do I just click?
Yeah, just press the next one.
The next button.
Okay. Yeah, or that one. Yeah.
Oh, this one. Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. So I know it's or some might think it's a dumb question. What are you confirming when you're now issuing a certificate of sponsorship? Okay. It used to be very easy. All you used to say is, I want a certificate of sponsorship. Boom, you have it. But that no longer is the case, isn't it? Now, you not only as a business have to confirm things about you, but as you will see from my slide there, you now have to also confirm things about the worker you want to issue a certificate of sponsorship to. Okay. So now before you issue that certificate of sponsorship, you wish to say that, number one, you wish to sponsor that worker. That's fine. That's not controversial, isn't it? You found somebody, you think they suit your organization, you're going to issue them a certificate of sponsorship. No issues there. But then now what you have to be satisfied is that the worker can meet the relevant immigration requirements. So not only are you issuing a certificate of sponsorship, you are having to go deep into looking at the worker that you are sponsoring. So it's no longer just the worker's responsibility, right, to show that they qualify and therefore should be granted a skilled worker. It has become your responsibility. Okay. And that's piling a lot of responsibilities on sponsors, isn't it? You know, you also need to know you're compliant and the worker that you want to sponsor is compliant. Issues around it being in an eligible work on a relevant route. I don't think that one is much of a controversy. We all know we are sponsoring a sponsor who's a care worker or a senior care worker. So not too much controversy around that. But you're then also saying you are abiding by the terms and conditions that you found on your system management system. So how many people log into their SMS system and how often? Or do you only log in when you want to apply for your certificate of sponsorships? No, you check every day. Oh, okay. I was gonna be like, wow, you're on it. But most of the times, you had your hand up. Most of the times, okay. But that's good, because I think that's where most of the communication happens, isn't it? So thinking about the terms and conditions, you would only know that if you're regularly accessing your SMS. This is an important one. This one. You are responsible for paying the course fee. Is that a controversial issue? Should I move on? I should move on. You must not attempt or recoup by any means the money that any part of this certificate of sponsorship fee or any associated administrations. I heard recently that we as solicitors apparently are we're under fire because we seem to be facilitating this through the fees that we charge you. And I'm glad to say I don't do that. And I'm sure everybody here doesn't do that. So the reason I'm bringing it to everybody's attention, because this is something that could lead to your license being revoked. Okay. It would lead to your license being revoked, but not only that, you would then have issues around employment law. I've seen people being taken to the employment tribunal for this very same issue. So not only are you looking at compliance with the Home Office, but you're also going to have problem from an employment perspective. So it's very important that we don't do that. So when you first apply for a sponsor license, that's when you normally apply for your certificate of sponsorships. And sometimes they're granted. These are some of the things that the Home Office will be looking at when they're considering whether to grant you that certificate of sponsorship. Okay. Have you been linked to immigration abuse before? All right. Are there any previous issues you've had with the Home Office? The number of workers employed at your organization, the kind of business you're conducting, the extent of that business, and the length you have been trading. So a very interesting thing happens. People say, oh, actually, let me ask a question. When you apply for your certificate of sponsorship, how many do you normally ask for? 100? Okay, so very sensible. So you're thinking, okay, I'm going to apply for 2, or I'm going to apply for 100, but I've got 2 clients. So if you apply for 100 and you've got 2 clients, it's unlikely that that's going to be granted, isn't it? Because they will look at the extent of your business contact. They will look at the time, the kind of business also that you do. So it's worth knowing how what you're asking collaborates with what you actually as a business have. Because now they're asking you for 6 months bank statement. They really are digging deep into your finances to make sure you can afford. All right. When you're looking at allocation, has anybody received automatic renewal of their certificate of sponsorship? So let's say you got 6, and then next year, do you automatically, or last year you got 6, and this year, did you automatically get another 6? They don't do it now. Make an application. To sponsor somebody. So if you, and is it active on your SMS? Does it say active? It does. So I would start to query that, because if you're A-rated, it does say you're active. Why are they not automatically allocating the COSs that you had last year? So I think that's also dependent on whether you used them. Obviously, their COS. Is there anybody who doesn't use the COSs that they get and they expire? Yes? Yeah. Ah, okay. That's good. That's very interesting. Right. But yeah, so if you, I would be starting to query that almost 3 months before any renewal is due. So I would be sending an email to the help desk and saying, well, our system says we're active. Why are you not giving us? Oh, can you confirm our next allocation is going to be an automatic renewal? If it isn't, why not? Okay, so it might be worth as businesses to start doing that. And then the other thing I think you will notice, most of the people came, was it 2022 now, 2023? So next year is almost a tipping point, isn't it? A lot of people need to renew. So those that came 3 renewing. So the whole point of putting this slide here is for you to be proactive. Plan, plan, plan. Okay. Because it's taking 18 weeks plus sometimes, especially if they're not sure about your business and they want to investigate all of that, to be able to acquire a certificate of sponsorship. The problem you have is you've got very good workers. I'm sure everybody's happy with the workers that they have. They're looking to renew their contracts or not. And if you are, really, if you leave it too late, not only are you placing your business in a precarious position, but also the people that work for you. Because remember, if they're not able to extend their leave, then that has a potential impact on your business. So start planning now. I was saying to a client, starting to get people whose leave is expiring in March, you need to do that application now. I know there is a priority service, but I'm sure, as everybody knows in this room, 7 o'clock, and by 7 o'clock, you have to send out an email requesting that your certificate of sponsorships are prioritized. And that doesn't happen. Most of the cases, it doesn't. Sometimes it does, but in most of the cases, it doesn't. But you really, really don't want to put your business and your employers in a position their leave is expiring. Okay? So, right. And then, so this is what I was talking about. Start to inquire about the automatic course allocation. Also start to think about the manual course allocation. Right. Okay, I think I've spoken about that. Now, looking at post 22nd of July, what it now means when you want to assign a certificate of sponsorship. As you're aware, the government have made it very tough. They no longer want people who do very important work, to my mind, that actually nobody else wants to do. But these are the people that are being penalized. So you will start to see that they've moved away, and now you have to be a graduate in order to do some sort of jobs. I've got 6 minutes. I'm sure I'll be able to wrap up within that 6 minutes. But for our purposes, the people that we sponsor, the care workers and senior care workers, they have to now meet a transitional provision. It's nothing new, because I'm sure since July, you have had to familiarize yourself with that, because it is something that you now need to know before you can assign a certificate of sponsorship. So I'm hoping everybody, especially if you've been assigning since July, you are aware of what you need to satisfy. So there's now 2 additional requirements for care workers and senior care workers. The first one is around the immigration status requirement. So remember, I told you that you're no longer, when you're looking at a certificate of sponsorship, you're no longer just thinking about yourself. You, as a business, how to issue one, but to think about the person you're issuing a certificate of sponsorship to, right? So, and I think this is where people are getting slightly confused. Businesses are getting slightly confused around this additional requirement around somebody's immigration status. The key there is either, right? So they're either, or they have either been working for you legally as a care worker for a minimum period of 3 months before you have a certificate of sponsorship. Sometimes we get people that have not worked for 3 months and they've been assigned a certificate of sponsorship. That is very dangerous for your business, because it shows the Home Office you're not compliant. It's likely to generate a compliance audit on your part, because you don't seem to understand what the Home Office are asking you to do here. And then the next thing, and I think this is the one that really applies to everybody here, is where the person was already employed as a skilled worker, and they were already employed in 613 or 136 codes, then as long as they've continuously worked, that is somebody you can employ without them having worked for you for 3 months. Okay. So there's some slight confusion around that with people that I've spoken to, but it is important, if you just understand that distinction, then you should be okay. All right. So I think this is the slides are just kind of explaining a little bit more about that aspect of you being in a position. You must, if you have been employing somebody who you want to show they've been working for you for 3 months, please, you have to evidence that, okay? So you have to evidence the 3 months. So either you have 3 months pay slip, you have an employment contract, you have some sort of evidence if you are audited by the Home Office that shows you have employed this person for 3 months. And then the other thing is, if they were a skilled worker who used to work on the 6136 or 6135 codes, you also have to have evidence of that. So you need to get their visa and ensure that those were the codes that they were working to. So unfortunately, this places a lot of burden on you as a sponsor. And we know you are already busy. But really, if you don't kind of do these things, you will potentially find yourself at the mercy of the Home Office and on an audit. Okay. Yeah. So if you are, my final statement on this, if you are thinking about requesting additional certificate of sponsorship, there is some information that the Home Office are requiring you work location where your person is going to work. If they're in England, you must be able to show that they're CQC registered. Oh, sorry, you are CQC registered. And there is now this type of information or a statement that you now need to include. That you need to now put on your certificate of sponsorship when you are. It's not very, very difficult, but it is. I think this is the time when, unfortunately, I know you don't like to pay us. I know you don't think, but I think with the way things are going with certificate of sponsorship being issued to you, I think it is in everybody's best interest to make sure you have somebody who's legally advising you, because I don't think as a business you can afford to lose your sponsorship license at the moment, because it's very difficult to get it back once you do. Okay. Thank you very much. I think I am okay, and I hope I haven't exceeded my time. I've got 14 seconds left. Okay. They've already clapped, so I must leave. Thank you very much, everybody. I will be available if anybody has questions and want to find out more about certificate of sponsorship. Thank you.